Hold on. Before you watch the rest of the video, I have a new site on Tippy where you can see lots of unseen videos and more. Link in the description. Don't miss out. Join the team and enjoy the video.
2 cups of water.
I'm gonna
2 minutes.
I'm going to keep this very short, I promise.
Volunteers responding is that all the calls are going to the other towns, and they're coming to here. And to the gentleman's, what you said was correct. The town residents and of Patterson doesn't get paid for the Kent residents that don't have insurance. They're eating the bills, and the towns aren't happy. Our friends in the other towns are not happy about that.
Okay, so I got 2 other questions based on that. So now that we know that other people have been doing that, that's one. So can we use those, that information they have to see how the projected cost?
We have
been in contact with them.
Because I keep on hearing that we don't know how much this is going to cost.
Because it depends on like the calls.
How many calls? Q1, Q2, Q3, because it is seasonal sometimes. Ambulances go up during certain seasons versus different days of the week is also a little bit different for services. So I'm wondering.
I think so, yes.
If we could run those numbers based on our own 2023 on another town that's been running a non-volunteer ambulance service and see how much they've been paying and how much we will be paying in 2025 so that we could kind of balance the budget better and have more, figures in front of us. All right, if that could be done, running just some numbers, just asking Brewster or Phillipstown or Southeast, hey, what you guys project, what was your numbers for, as it stands for 2024, it's almost the end of the year. If we could get some of those numbers, which are more recent, and perhaps, and then use that, again, populations may be different, and various other areas may be different, but just as a go-to number that would help.
There's a huge amount of, we're living in a police state, and quite frankly, I don't see the need, and I hope that you will come to not see the need for a separate. I was with Kent Fiscal Watch. I went through the.
And the first thing I asked the guy was, well, you have the plate number, and another guy turned around and said, why don't you run it through the facial recognition in the.
I hate to interrupt you, but we're here for the budget. It's not about that.
The point
We're
is,
more than happy to another time.
The point is, they ran the plate and they were able to get the facial recognition 20 years ago. Here, I'm thinking, you guys do a great job. I'm in a disagreement with this gentleman over taking the police.
If you would, just keep it to budget questions.
I'm sorry?
We're here for the budget.
He's asking if you just keep to budget questions.
But we don't have facial recognition hooked to that.
Oh, there isn't any?
No, it's just, they're just straight license plate
They're just
readers.
license plate readers.
Right.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that if a crime was committed, that we couldn't take that data and run it through some other AI thing to help,
I got you. Deficit in your taxes. What's going to happen is your mortgage company is going to pay those taxes, and then they're going to crack your mortgage. They'll add that $400 or $500 paid. That caused a lot of people to go into foreclosure back in like 2009, 2010. That was part of the bubble. So I would caution you to consider that with this tax increase. The other thing that I want to bring to your attention is that although you're saying that this new assessment is a third, and a third, property values in this area are up. Nobody's assessment's going down. We all know it. Now, keeping that in mind, in reality,
Then the assessment will be reduced, and then your taxes will go down a little bit. Your neighbor's house might be assessed higher, and then they're going to pay a little bit more. It's not like everyone's going to pay more and they're going to collect more taxes.
the point that I'm trying to make
I know what you're
here
trying to say. You're trying to
is-
say everything is more valuable than it was in 2013.
Absolutely.
I don't think, and this is just a guess, I don't think that the assessment values that the assessor has on your property today is the same as what it was in 2013.
Oh, I guarantee
I
it's
think
not.
what it means is that it's time to get out there and have professionals go out and reassess all the properties. We
Right,
know they've all got more valuable.
right. So then the assessments are all gonna go up.
They're not.
That's
Some
just-
will.
They're
They
gonna,
will. But the tax levy doesn't go up.
My understanding is that the assessment is just used to allocate the tax levy. I'll come and consult with you. But New York State has a mechanism that they call equalization, because, you know, we're not.
Really, if you have those numbers, I have the 9%, the 9.5% for the town-wide tax so this is based on a $375,000 assessed house, because it's different for everyone. It's a total of $160 a year.
More, 160 additional.
Yes.
All right, now,
That's the town.
that's a town. Now, tell me about. Okay. So then that answers the other question of the bubble, because that will not create a bubble. $250 is, $20 a month.
Because the cost of going for us to buy a new one would have been
And also to let
extraordinary.
us use their.
And the-
And
and the
using the substation.
Terrific,
So we
thank
did
you.
get, we did get something out.
No, I appreciate that. I had no idea. It was an education. Thank you. I honestly appreciate that. Number two, moving on. Yuli, I think I got to point this one at you. Reserves. At the very beginning of the meeting, we talked about it, how our reserves are getting depleted and potentially going to be eliminated. I know this is probably not the best place for the conversation.
With the tax increase, so there's no reserves to use, so the budget strictly has to be balanced with the levy.
Okay.
So, and that's.
That's a list of of how much was taken out of the,
Yeah, that's just use, so that's a use of fund balance over
Balance, because we did not raise taxes, and because we did not.
coming years.
Moving forward, to continue to put into that fund balance or those reserves.
I think we would have to be, we would stay under the cap, the tax increases, if they're under, if they're within the cap, I think it would be fiscally responsible and would add to the reserves.
Thank you. Don't walk away. Specific to Lake Martin. I'm just going to say this, and I hope I'm not going to offend anybody, but the budget. It's been expressed a bunch of times about, I'm going to use Lake Carmel as the example, 18+% of a potential increase within that park district. And if I heard correctly, and I did document it, Julie, I believe you said it was going to be 5% increase.
Well, 5% increase for the budget. The operating budget is 5%.
So, and that's what I guess I'm trying to understand, and if I can use the term, I think somebody else may have brought it up. What can we do in the future to literally dumb this down? Not the $25,000 that the county is so gracious to pass along, but what can we do for our citizens to dumb it down, to understand this? Because I'll be honest with you, I've been looking at budgets for a few years. I'm no expert, I'd never admit that or even say that. But I think that's where a lot of the confusion lies. I've had a bunch of my fellow residents within Lake Carmel look at it, we've had conversations, and we look at this budget and it shows 18+% in there, and now we come tonight, it's the 5%. I still don't fully understand. I know you just explained it, but is there something we can do in the future to kind of, again, use that verb or that terminology, dumb it down?
well, maybe we can look into other.
This is just a formal, it's a kind of a pre-formatted way of presenting the budget, but I'm sure there's a summary sheet that we can modify that would be more of an informal presentation that could be shared with the residents.
Great,
That's not $25,000.
Exactly.
I hate it too, Bobby.
It's tough.
It's all over the place.
It's tough.
Yulia looks at
It
those
is, and
numbers
we
and
go-
understand them. I look at them and they just start
We
bouncing all
sit there and
over
we
the
say,
place.
what page, and Yulia always knows what page we're going to, and none of us know what page we're going to, so.
Thank you, that's appreciated. Number 4, 19.18, is that the correct number that we're at right now for an increase? Am I understanding that
Yeah,
correctly?
the
Overall
total,
budget?
yeah,
Okay.
overall levy.
Okay, and I'm just gonna put it out there, my personal feelings, it's a hardship. I know it doesn't expend to be a lot of money per se per year, $250, $260 I think is what we came up with, but it does get over time, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, especially this board that's done a lot. The chances of us not increasing over the next few years is going to be difficult or probably near impossible. Those numbers are going to continue to add up. The cost of goods, I understand. I'm just going to give my little speech here. I understand the cost of goods or the increase in cost of goods can't be controlled somewhat for those costs. There's nothing we can do about it. But we can control other areas, and would like to know if each department in the area is reviewing and can show us citizens the initiative that has been done to reduce potentially within each department. I think there was a mention, and I could have these numbers wrong. Jamie, I'm going to look at you because I know you've mentioned these in one of the past meetings. The past, I guess it's 2 years now, right? The first year of the 2 years, we had an increase of 2%, if I'm not mistaken. Do I have that right? Do you know? Does anybody know?
For what?
For budget?
What year?
So it would be, well, this is going to be 25, 24, 20, 23, we had a 2% increase,
2%,
right?
okay, yes,
And then
I'm
we
sorry,
did-
I didn't know what you, I didn't know
I'm sorry,
what
I
we
should have been more definitive in it. And then we did 4%, right?
Were we at 4?
Last year? For 24 was
4?
4%, right? And now we're going to 9%. These are just things to take into consideration. Those numbers are continuing to increase. Obviously, we don't, and we just can't afford it anymore. Again, it's quite a hardship. I just want to make sure that it's mentioned out there. Finally, I'm infamous for asking this question, guys, as you know, being on the Lakes Committee. What are the next steps? What is happening tonight? What is happening tomorrow? What's happening next week? And what is the ultimate day that this budget needs to be presented to whomever? And if you could explain who that those people are, or is it the county? Is it the state? How does it work?
So we will close the public hearing tonight, and we will, I'm gonna see if we can vote on adopting it tonight, because we won't have a full board at the next meeting, which is next week. So,
And it has to be
it needs to be
adopted.
adopted by the 20th. And then it gets, I deliver it to the county. I'm sorry, Yulia.
No, yeah, go ahead.
It gets delivered to the county, and they file it. And that's as far as
I'm sorry, I'm sorry to cut you off. You said
Yeah.
next week, the 20th, is that what you said? That's what it has to be. Board meeting, there's not going to, I'm going to pose this question a different way. Are we literally going back and looking at where we can save literally dimes, nickels, and pennies at this point in time? Are you, as a town board, I'm asking you that in general, not individual, have we done that? Have we honestly done that?
Honestly, we have
I'm not ready for that.
I'm gonna tell you something,
Feels like-
we have combed through every single, and I'm telling you this, and believe me, don't believe me, I don't really care. I've personally, I know everyone else, we've spent nights looking.
As a resident, that's what's being done by this town board. I appreciate what you
I
guys do.
assure you that we have gone through line by line to find every penny that we can, and it's just to the point that there's nothing
it.
else to cut.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so then we'll do that.
Take out all the fluff in there and just put the numbers down in a row.
Yes, we will. And moving forward, we'll try for next year to have something a little bit more user-friendly. Thank you. That's not, well, so then next time we'll have to put it under the, or we can put a banner
That's
and you
what you
can
want.
click
You want
it.
a banner that
So
says
then the
tentative
banner,
budget
then the
right on
banner
top.
takes, you
Yeah.
click the banner and maybe it'll take you
Yeah, that's
to
what you need.
That I can agree with. A little revamp.
I got that. But, at the same time, you have 70% is watershed. There's a lot of environmental factors that go on, and everybody wants to build, but they don't want to look at the environment. We cannot go back and say, we built that real fast because we needed the money. And I understand, we need the money. But at the same time, we don't want to affect your children, your children's children, long-term. The planning board is not. There's a lot of factors. Don't forget, there's not only in the planning board with that Crane project, with the Murrow project, you got the DEP, you got the DOT. They got to get through all those regulations.
Workshop showing. Request is annexed here to and incorporated herein by reference. And whereas consistent with the town procurement policy and general municipal law, Ms. Roner solicited quotes for the radio system and received 3 in response. Whereas Ms. Roner recommends that the town accept the proposal of New York Communications Company, Inc., NICOMCO, to provide the radio system as the system will work with the Putnam County radio systems. And whereas the town board of the town of Kent accepts the recommendation of Ms. Roner and the proposal of NICOMCO to provide the radio systems for the town of Kent EMS. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes and approves the purchase of the radio system from NICOMCO for the purchase price of $3,422.90. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes and directs the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, guess we might as well do the
Yes, printer.
the printer contract for the PD. So, I received an email from the chief asking us that they need new printers over down at the police department, so, The best price was with the Toshiba Business Solutions at an overall cost of $6,189.04. It's to be spread over 60 months at $103.15 per month. They need new printers, so I ask the board to approve this tonight.
I can do that one if you want.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing copier printer contract for the Town of Kent Police Department. Whereas the Town of Kent Police Department is in need of copier printer services, and whereas Chief Owens has provided 2 Toshiba ES25288 printers through the New York State Contract Deferred Payment Plan, contract number PT6.